Well, it's not live. I just started it. It's Catz versus Phantaxx. As I mentioned before, by the way, guys, 7 pool standard.
And Phantaxx says, "I'm on to you, Paulo."
Funny graphics. As I mentioned before, for the people just tuning in, wondering if these games are live or not, they are played very recently. They got played literally 30 to 45 minutes before we broadcast them, so we got the replays right off the file server of our league admin. Puts them on, so they're not 100% live, but they are as close to live as possible.
That is true. Nothing wrong with doing it this way. This is actually one of my favorite ways to run the broadcast because you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that there is no chance that somebody could even accidentally tune into the stream and do something unsavory.
Well, I still prefer like 5-minute delay live broadcast. But that's a little bit hard for us to arrange, guys, because this is a live qualifier, so then it gets awkward and we might not always have games, and that's going to make the show unpleasant for you guys.
That's when you're sometimes sitting there like, okay, our next game is going to be Idra versus In Control, and where is In Control?
Yeah, not just that, you're going to have to connect players, and sometimes you're just like, the next game looks so cool, that's going to be Idra versus Hawk. Alright guys, we'll just wait until Hawk finishes his last game, and then that game goes into like 55 minutes.
BRB, Kingston HyperX photo shoot.
Man, that commercial was awesome.
I laughed so hard at that commercial.
Yeah, I thought it was very well.
I think some of the funniest things about the commercial were a lot of the references that people that don't maybe know Chris or know some of the guys that he works with were kind of making there. Some really great inside jokes. Funny commercial.
And who said inside jokes do not look on camera?
They look great on camera in that case.
Also, Ben, I just looked up, by the way, how well your buddy Tegon did. And he did actually win the bronze medal at Southeast Asia.
Not bad! So, Bradley Seymour.
There were only 8 players, but he did manage to get top 3, which is, of course, a very impressive result.
Who was second?
Mafia? Is that possible?
I
think Mafia took second, and I think Moonglade won.
It's basically an all-Zerg tournament?
Yes, 3 Zergs, and the 4th place was a Protoss. That's what I remember. That's when I turned off the stream.
Oh, Catz. Oh, wait, never mind. This isn't as weird as I thought. He's getting the third base built right now. For whatever reason, to me, this looks like, whoa, never mind. This is really weird. Double hatch before spawning pool.
He did that against me as well. If he feels that a Protoss player is going to be defensive for a long time, as he scouts the Nexus and he scouts the Forge now as well, and he feels Protoss is playing greedy, then he likes to go double hatch before pool. He did the exact same thing against me when I played on Cloud Kingdom.
This is also a playstyle I've experimented with in my own ladder sessions, and it definitely has some real viability. It's always risky to do something this greedy when somebody has their forge complete. But
you know, but I still really wonder. Like, I don't play Zerg, so I don't have the super insight details about how well this turns out for the economy. But how I look at it is that you delay your queens for such a long time, which means that you delay the real larva for such a long time. I really wonder how much you actually gain from this.
You know, that's a good question. The whole 3 hatch before spawning pool, this was not uncommon at all in Brood War. But in StarCraft II, I don't think it's a style that has been very hashed out, right? I don't think it's something that people experiment with a whole lot.
Phantaxx still didn't scout, by the way, so he must be a little bit confused, but now he will scout this hatchery in the middle of the map. He's going to be like, oh, Catz, I thought I was onto you. But
that being said, Catz is a guy that puts a great deal of thought into his builds.
Yeah. So I can only imagine that Catz thinks it's good, because this is not the first time I see him do it.
Yeah.
He's done it more often. I really wonder. I would love to see one of those smart guys on Team Liquid do the math about this and see how much better this actually is for the economy than the normal build.
I'll tell you a little story about Catz, because way back when I was doing my little show, 12 Weeks with the Pros, seems like forever ago, I decided one day, hey, I'm going to do an episode, and I'm going to talk about cheese, and I'm going to have Catz on as my cheese expert. And Catz comes on the show, and he explains to me very eloquently that it's not cheese if you plan it a certain way. And he explained to me in detail how a 7-pool build makes sense if you then expand to a gold base. Of course, this is back when gold bases were very, very common. And I walked away from that episode saying to myself, okay, well, he's absolutely right. This isn't cheese. It's just non-standard. And just the rationale and the thought that goes into it, I'm very, very certain that Catz has worked out in his mind, yes, this is economically better for whatever reason.
I think it's slightly better. I'm looking at the worker tab and I'm looking at the time in the game. And I also think a very nice thing about this build by Catz is that he can start all 3 queens on the exact same moment. So that has to be very lovely, because that means that your injects are going to be so much easier.
Yep. And the other thing to kind of consider here, if you go 2 hatch, double queen, you start popping off 8 larvae at a time. If you go 3 hatch triple queen, you start a little bit later, but you're getting 12 larvae at a time. So you might even, you might not have the same amount of drones at 7 minutes and 30 seconds with this style as you would do in the other style, but I guarantee you at 9 minutes,
well,
you're going to be better off.
I think on 7 minutes 30 seconds is already a moment where this style is catching up, as Catz's economy looks extremely good right now. Really a lot of workers for this phase of the game. He has a good idea about what's going on as well. He's a little bit bothered by this single stalker, but he didn't really lose anything yet. Well, he lost an overlord.
All that having been said, we haven't said much about Phantaxx's opening, which is Forge Expand into 4-gate Robo.
But I think he's going to add 4 more gates, Ben, or at least 3, as we see these 3 gates going up right now. Are you going to add 1 more? Is it going to be 7-gate Robo or 8-gate Robo? 7-gate.
1 more pylon. Frees up the supply room. So this tells us pretty decisively that Phantaxx wants to do something off 2 base.
This stalker has been running around for quite a while. I hope he's good. He has good stamina.
It's this is not the Usain Bolt stalker. This is the I don't know any marathon runners.
No, me neither. But there are a couple of great ones. Man, running a marathon is good stuff.
This is Messi stalker because he's got great stamina.
I see these links do spot one of the pros from Phantaxx on the map out there. With these kind of styles, it's so important for Catz that he doesn't allow any pylons to go up on his side of the map. Of course, Phantaxx will most likely bring a War Prism with his army. As we can see, the War Prism is in production right now. It's still very important to delay those pylons.
This is going to be a difficult defense any way you cut it. These kind of immortal pushes, they're just strong. That's all it boils down to. And for Catz to be successful
Force fields could go down, Ben, and Catz is going to lose all these units.
And that was not worth it, Catz. I think your best bet would have been to just try and kill a sentry. Instead, he just ran everything.
He would have at least got 1 sentry, as that one was already low on HP, and the Roach could have finished it off. Maybe with a little bit of luck, he could have even picked off 2 sentries if Phantaxx would have underreacted. Now he lost a couple of links and 1 Roach. It's not the end of the world yet, but as you said, Ben, this is always a hard push. It doesn't matter how good or how bad you are. If you're able to execute this push as a Protoss player, you're able to pose a pretty serious threat to most Zerg players out there.
That's true, and for Catz to defend correctly, he's got to get a great engagement. Now, one thing that's awesome about this base is it's much more open than your 3rd base or your natural would be. So he could have a larger concave when he does engage. It's just a matter of whether or not he can get the right number of units out.
It's so important that you managed to get the creep through a little bit up the ramp as well, even though he lost the creep tumors right there now as well. Makes it so much harder for a Protoss player and makes it so much easier for a Zerg. Roach speed is not ready yet, and a lot of roaches are actually right now over here on the right bottom side of the map. Oh, if Phantaxx would have known, he's going to see it.
This is really dangerous. If Catz loses this force, there's no way he can defend. He is going to go ahead and engage. And Phantaxx, not perfect force fielding there, lets a lot of roaches get through.
Use the Warp Prism. He has a lot of money right now. He could warp in 6 to 7 stalkers. He's not doing it yet. Now he will do that. Starts off with 3, maybe a little bit of Chrono Boost.
3 stalkers, 4 more stalkers, and Catz is going to have to scramble here, Kev. He does not have a whole lot of army. 71 army supply to 74, and Phantaxx has wedged himself into the 3rd base. This is getting very difficult for Catz. At this point, maybe he should start thinking counterattack.
7 more roaches in production. He's going to abandon most of these drones. He has a little bit of money, but Phantaxx still has a lot of money. Even with a counterattack right now, when he left 2 sentries behind, warp in stalkers. He could warp in a couple of additional cannons as well the moment he realizes what's going on over here.
7 sentries up here in his main base, and what will these roaches be able to do? They will kill the cannon. So
he's going to sacrifice the low ground? Wow, interesting decision.
And actually, the lings just walk right in. So Phantaxx is going to give up the natural and just try to defend in his main. Catz, meanwhile, is building a ton of spine crawlers, and spines are very good against the kind of army that Phantaxx has, but only if they can finish building. And most of these will not, in fact, be able to be done in time. Catz cancels right away.
Abandon mission.
Abort, abort.
How many we have a single observer on the map right now. The observer is actually getting focused down by the spore crawler, and while Burrow is being researched, Ben. And actually, I think Burrow is already done.
Burrow is done. Tunneling Claws is being researched. Pathogen Clans is finishing, and a lot of infestors are in production. The Robo was also on the low ground, Kev, so this is still a very open game. Anything could happen. Phantaxx is going to go ahead and kill this middle expansion of Catz, but now he's going to come back. And he cannot kill this army. We still have a main base as well. It's just impossible. And when Tunneling Claws finishes, Catz is just going to waltz in there and kill everything. He needs a new robo. He has so much money. I'm surprised, Ben, that he's not building a robo right now. He's building a forge instead. He wants to get cannons up. You're going to need a robo, broski. cannons might serve his needs for now. Catz, meanwhile, got a lot of spines down on the high ground in his main.
Catz gonna try. I mean, Phantaxx gonna try to force it off these roaches, but as we mentioned before, they have burrow. He's not revealing the fact yet. I guess the moment he's gonna reveal that, well, Catz of course does not know what we know. He doesn't know that Phantaxx doesn't have a observer on the map. He doesn't even know that Phantaxx does not have a robo right now. He knows he killed one on the low ground, at least. I hope he does.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that he's aware at least of that. Phantaxx hasn't built any cannons anywhere. What? I'll get the forge if you're not gonna build the cannons.
Catz. I love casting Catz games, man.
Yeah, they're definitely always exciting. So, I do think Catz is basically safe at this point. He's in no real danger of dying. There's no coming up this ramp, for instance, Kev.
God, the Protoss has so much money, man. Can you please tell me what he's waiting for? Why is he not just dropping 2 Nexuses?
I do not know. Now Catz knows with certainty that there's no observer.
And he's going to try to get up that ramp, and he will be able to snipe the robo, I think, once more. The robo is just now starting. You could unbarrel right now, Catz, if only you knew.
Playing it safe, man.
Are these enough? Yeah, well, he has well, we have 7 infestors over here, so there's absolutely no way that this army, without Blink, will ever be able to get up in the high ground. Not killing the infestation pit in natural was a really, really big mistake, I think.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And will Phantaxx try to bust this ramp?
Man. Here we go.
Surprise! Roach party and
oh, Catz, you could only see that robo.
If 7 stalkers were to be warped in right now, this gets a lot harder.
Yeah.
Catz isn't paying attention to these roaches. He's going to lose 2 right away. Robo's going to finish. At the same time, Phantaxx is committing to getting up this ramp, and that did not go well at all. One of the immortals is just dead. That's the only immortal, in fact. No, there's one more. All right.
Well, both players have so much money. Both players can just drop bases for such a...
Man, there's so many small errors being made on both sides. Finally, Phantaxx starts the observer. I don't think there's any chance of Catz killing this robo in time. Nope,
not with only 3 roaches. If he would have used all of them, he would have.
And I'm honestly, in my mind, thinking this is sort of reached a point of stability where neither player can really do damage anymore.
But I really like Catz's position so much more, because Catz has all those infestors, man, and the infestors are perfect against his army. Phantaxx has a lot of minerals, but he doesn't have any gas. He really just needs to expand, and it's natural. I don't get why he's so afraid. And if he is so afraid, use some of those minerals to build a couple of cannons. Yeah,
he's got plenty of money to start re-establishing an economy, and that's what he absolutely needs to do at this point. Roach is just doing the old ring around the rosy in the main base. As Catz is just kind of re-establishing everything. His natural's coming back up.
Now he wiped in 6 to 7 or 8 Zealots, which I also really don't get, because Zealots are not good against the army composition that he knows that Catz has. Catz showed. Was the Warp Prism killed?
No,
it was floating around
the main of Catz. Now that is something that has to be taken into account. Multi-pronged attack could be very frustrating for Catz to deal with. Trolling. Blocking that Nexus.
Oh, I didn't see that little link. Spire is in production for Catz now as well. Catz has a lot of minerals, not all that much gas, but his natural's up now as well, so he will be on 4 extractors. Then we do have that first big Zerg Zealot warp in.
I like that he's doing this, but I don't understand the timing of it.
No.
And worse than that, the Warp Prism's going to be fungled to death, so now he doesn't have that option anymore, so... A little bit.
It's just not that good to do those kind of things when you know there are so many infestors, and when you also know that your opponent is not spread out at all. The opposite is true. He's camping on 2 bases.
Yeah,
so
if you're attacking the 3rd at the same time, then it's a different situation. But never do things one action at a time. That's just, at this level of play, it has to be I'm going to attack so that my drop can work, not I'm going to drop.
Yep, you always want to create 2 problems for your opponent and not 1. If the only thing in the game that he has to deal with is 7 Zealots in his main, I think it's pretty safe to say that he's going to be able to deal with it. Otherwise, man, we are casting the wrong games.
Yeah, certainly when you have 100 army supply, or I guess in Catz's case 61 army supply, but still more than enough to deal with those Zealots. Phantaxx is finally going to work on establishing both his natural once more and his 3rd base. Catz is coming over to do something about it, but that's not an army he's going to be able to challenge right now.
10 Mudas in production, and these Stalkers still do not have Blink. I cannot blame him for that, of course, because you can't get everything from 1 base, and he had to think about how he wants to spend his army. I do think he spent a couple of times his money on the wrong things, so right now I guess it makes sense, as he is trying to get 2 Nexuses and will most likely get a cannon or 2 as well on either side. But I think Mudas are going to be a great choice.
Yeah, this is frankly the ultimate answer. Again, another Warp Prism getting caught. Catz showing some excellent map awareness there.
I don't think those infested terrorists
need a range upgrade.
Ugh. I can see you.
Blizzard, get on this. This is unacceptable. Thermal lance for infested Terrans.
Oh. Don't start about it, man. War Prism falls as well. Catz is just taking more and more bases right now. Well, Phantaxx is going up to 3 bases. Well, he is dropping the Robo Bait right now, and that's the start, because Colossus is something that he's definitely going to need against all those infestors, but it's not going to work all that well against the mutas that we have on the map.
Not at all. And, well, Phantaxx is building a couple of cannons. It's going to... Well, you know, he's got a lot of stalkers, and we saw MC versus Nurture. We can't forget that game where he
I will never forget that game.
Had no Twilight Council, and simply with superior positioning.
And cannons and then Storm.
So it's possible. It's certainly very, very, very hard.
Yeah, this is one of those games I will never forget, Nurture versus MC, because I felt Nurture did everything right. That was back in the days, though, when Nurture was still a little bit, how to say it?
He wasn't a...
No, like, he was already a very good player, but I think he was a little bit mind-broken against Koreans.
Yeah. That was also the last time he ever lost to MC.
Yes, that's correct, too. Phantaxx knows right now that these mutas are on the map, and he's going to have to deal with them. Perhaps an additional observer or two would be very useful as well. We saw MC do that back then as well. Putting observers in the right positions definitely helps. Certainly because there are not really that many sites that the mutas can fly in on Daybreak.
And Catz has just devoured the map, Kevin. Once he realized he was safe, retook his natural, retook his third, retook his fourth, and took a 5th base. He is just expanding at a rampant rate. And he's in a really strong spot right now. His economy is great. He's getting upgrades. He's got the mobility of these mutas now. And it's going to be very, very hard for Phantaxx to reach another point of stability. How does Phantaxx leave his base is the next question.
That's going to take a little while, Ben. Not on 130 supply. He doesn't have a single cannon in his main. He is getting the Templar Archives right now, and he did leave, well, 9 Stalkers behind. So that should be enough to scare away these mutas, but it's a little bit risky. It's not an overwhelming amount, but of course he could warp in.
Not quite done yet. Catz will trade 1 muta for 1 Stalker, which is something that Phantaxx should be kind of okay with.
Any day of the week, though, when you have 25 worker advantage.
Also true. 25 worker advantage, 5 bases to 2. And Phantaxx he's going to have a very hard time attacking when he does decide to move out, because Catz still has all those spine crawlers from before.
Now we do see Blink is ready, more Colossus are on the way, and he's getting his 2nd armor upgrade as well. Interesting that he goes 1-2 against Zerg above 2-1. I don't really get that, as there are so many infestors on the map as well. Against the mutas, I guess it makes a little bit of sense to get the armor upgrade, but I still think that 9 out of 10 players will prefer attack upgrades against Zerg. Over armor.
Yeah, that's a good point, Kev. The armor upgrade means that the splash damage of the muta is going to be reduced every time it splashes. It could in fact be exactly what Phantaxx is thinking. Catz is now maxed out, and guys, Catz is doing this so perfectly. When you play muta, you're ultimately forcing your opponent into a sort of a base race situation, and he is already preparing for that. A lot of spine crawlers going down. He's just recycling drones, building spines, recycling drones, building spines. This is becoming very, very difficult for Phantaxx. Almost, in my opinion, it's reached the point of unwinnability.
We are not there yet, man. And that's what we thought back then as well, but I can't disagree with you. Catz is playing this out very, very beautifully. The assimilators in the main base right now for Phantaxx are empty, and he doesn't have that much gas. He has 700 gas, and he's still mining from 4 extractors, but we all know what happens to Protoss gas.
He's got quite a bit of gas, bro. 2,400 gas.
That's Catz.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're talking about Phantaxx.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Well, obviously, Catz doesn't really have a gas problem. He's on 5 bases. But no, like, I mean, 700-800 gas is nice, but you also know that moment you wipe in 4 or 5 high Templars, and I can imagine he wants Storm. I can imagine that he wants Archons. You can see that gas right now already dropping to only 50, and we're only on 4 extractors. That's not all that much. Yep. Oh, Colossus pick off.
Ooh, that's actually a really big deal. These Colossi.
Immortal as well, and he picked off a Stalker before. Oh, Archon's getting a couple of really big shots off there, though.
Colossi, believe it or not, are instrumental in the attack that Phantaxx will eventually make, because they're the best tool he has in dealing with the spine crawlers.
Yep, and the best thing is all the spine crawlers are so lined up. They're like, give me splash damage.
It looks really pretty, though.
Yes, it does.
Great Wall of Catz.
The Great Wall of Catz, indeed. It's pretty great wall, Catz. I can see Catz jumping from one spine crawler to another in his dreams, like wee.
It's like runs across the tip.
Yeah, I love Zerg, wee.
It's like backflipping from spine crawler to spine crawler.
Yes. And
He's got his sunglasses on.
And Michaela is watching, and he's like, not bad. Actually impressed.
Wow, Catz impresses Michaela. Big Fungal goes down on a handful of Stalkers here, and that's a little bit frustrating for Phantaxx. He's going to take some losses. Roach is also coming in the fight. Interesting that Catz chooses to come back and defend with the mutas versus doing big damage back at home.
Crazy Fungals here though, and Archons are so annoying in situations like this because they block everything already. These mutas are going to fall really quick.
That was a little sloppy. He's oh my god, Catz just goes immediately down to 10 mutas from what was almost 30 before. He is transitioning into Broodlord tech.
I mean, Catz is still more than fine because of his great wall of Catz, but those Fungals are good.
They are very good. Catz has some of the best Infestor use in the business. Notice how he always just comes out with one Infestor at a time. He never really has them all clumped up. Fungal's a Colossus to death. You do not see that ever. But Catz just did it. You know, the televised match. Still fighting with his mutas and just sending in units here and there to try and get good trades.
He has a lot of Corruptors right now. He could just send in a lot of Corruptors and deal with that Colossus and then clear up the rest with Zerglings.
I think he'd rather wait and float in with his Broodlords, Kev. He's already got 5 of them out. More of them are on the way.
I guess so.
And Phantaxx, his army is just thinning so severely.
Right now, Catz doesn't really have that many units, but the Broodlords are out, and this is going to make it a lot harder. We do have Blink, of course, because he needed Blink. Actually, this Broodlord is very exposed right now. Catz is going to end up losing most likely 3. Yes, he does end up losing.
A couple broods do fall. 8 more, 10 more, 11 more are in production, so Catz...
Catz has an absolutely, well, I won't say insane economy, but right now it's not even that big.
He had an insane economy for enough time that he's able to really establish this very powerful army. He's got 7 Infestors. He's building tons of Broodlords. 10 Corruptors are on the way. That'll make Colossus tech just useless, and the Ultimus Cavern's also finishing.
Now this is a Protoss army behind enemy lines, if I've ever seen one.
How often do you see this, by the way? He's on the wrong side of the Spinecrawler wall. He's going to get trapped. He's like, I just want to leave.
The guys, do we have a mothership? A nice forward blink right there by Phantaxx. Picks off 2 Broodlords, but Catz is just too rich, man. He has too many units, and Phantaxx is on the wrong side of the Spinecrawler wall.
He really is. If Catz were to just like walk the top half of the wall down here and completely lock him in, that would be so cool. But I don't even think he needs to do that, Kev, as he has his opponent more or less cornered. There's one way out, and Phantaxx is going to head straight to it. Nope, in fact, he's going to go try to deny this bottom right base. Wow,
that was a massive overkill on that one group tumor. Great Fungal over here on the Colossus and a couple of Stalkers. Sentry gets caught as well. Once more great Fungals by Catz. And during all this, Catz managed to remax right now, Ben. For a moment, he was only at 130, 140 supply. Right now, he's pretty much maxed again. Very well done.
Yes, he is. The only supply he's losing are drones, and the Broodlords and Broodlings are just crushing everything. One last desperation blink for Phantaxx.
Not too many Broodlords.
Way too much. GG comes out. Catz takes game 2 and ties up the series. Again, another unorthodox game, Kevin. Again, some bizarre decisions on both sides. This time, Catz comes out victorious, and we'll play in the rubber match. Game number 3 when we get back.